Yeah. Hey. Yeah, people. Yo, yo. How you feeling? Blessing and honor to one and all. You know what I'm saying? Because we got some sad news. Some sad news, man. Some damning news. And these news keep occurring and reoccurring now more than ever before. I gotta be wondering what's up. I should be getting a nap right now and seeing this. I had to just vlog it, clock it. You know what I'm saying? So this post is from the Hollywood Unlocked. Y'all know Jason Lee, how he goes to work. Now, so yeah, this post is from Hollywood Unlocked, and let us get it. Yeah, folks. So the post is captioned that ESPN cuts ties with NFL analysis, right? Ryan, what's the name? Ryan Clark. Okay. Yeah. So ESPN cut ties with NFL analysis Ryan Clark. Okay. And they did that right in the middle of the live show broadcast. Sources claim executives feared a leak and are expecting more layoff. Okay. So he's a NFL analysis, right? Worked on the ESPN Sports Channel or network. Now, we've seen Shannon Sharp being one of the black men who was working, and he was the analysis for ESPN covering the sports, sports coverage, right? But it was fair and a honest termination, I would say, when it comes to Shannon Sharp, because he was in a big pot of hot water. You know what I'm saying? Which just a quick run through of what had went down. So the big major interview that Cat William had done with Shannon Sharp that gave him that big viral moment on YouTube with all them videos that he had, made many clippings of. But it was about a 2 hour sat down Shannon Sharp had with Cat Williams, and Cat Williams had warned him about Shannon Sharp, having too much of a lustful behavior towards young um white females. You know what I'm saying? So they're all celebrities, and they know what other celebrity and each of them are doing. Words be going around. Once you're a celebrity, you're going at the same party, you're mixing with the same people. So information is being shared, and Cat William had warned um Shannon Sharp about his love for the snow bunnies. You know what I'm saying? The white chicks, and how dangerous they could be. And so said, so done. Cat Williams just kept on going viral. His words be coming to pass. And Shannon Sharp had gotten into some lawsuit claim from some young teenager white chick, right? Who he had slept with. And he had to pay her up to 20 million US dollars, right? Because she had took him to court and had won some big settlement. And that great one that she had won, the great win she had won in court against um, Shannon Sharp, allowed her to win and walk away with a whopping 20 million US dollars. And it caused her to delete her OnlyFans account. So basically, she doesn't need to hustle or do nothing to make any money for the rest of her life. So Shannon Sharp was warned by Cat William, and as I said, it was a fair termination by ESPN to fire Shannon Sharp because of such, big outbreak of such a embarrassing, you know, um, occurrence that he was involved with. She's basically a minor to Shannon Sharp. Being 19 years old, but she's an adult, so But it still doesn't look good and sit well with many people who trusted in Shannon Sharp. And a lot of these American black males, especially the black males, they're the ones I got to talk about because we're family, right? And a lot of grown black men in America have been witnessing, they be having some immature tendency or behavioral pattern, like, for example, even Charlemagne, who was accused of drugging a young girl. And I mean, it's years ago, but there are many more black Americans, male, who do these things, take advantage of the younger girls, and, it's just not good. So, yeah, let's get into this because the way how the NFL analysis here, Ryan Clark was terminated, was definitely out of order, was uncalled for, was definitely stem from racism, it seems, because we have so many racial issues and events taking place where black people are being unalived by police and other citizens and all type of crazies. There's so many news. We've got Nolan Xavier Wells that have been covering his story. Now we got some paranormal guy who he communicates with the dead, and I want to bring that to you all. He had called on Nolan Xavier Spirit, and it's a very creepy video. It's going viral. He's also on YouTube, but I'm gonna bring his video from Instagram here. You know what I'm saying? Because it shocked a lot. And when I read the comments, people are feeling, they're getting goosebumps from listening to Nolan speak through the some paranormal device that communicates with the dead. It allows you to communicate with the dead. You know what I'm saying? So that is just wild. And I'm gonna have to bring it to y'all. So, as I said, this is an unfair and unlawful way, and it's definitely stemmed from racism with all that is being occurred. But we're gonna run through it and give ESPN a fair chance so y'all could see gradually how it all stems to the NFL analysis, Ryan Clark being terminated mid-ear live on television. That's just disrespectful, and that is what shows me that this is stemming from racist, right? Because they love to humiliate the black man. Okay. Now, look, let's slide to the left or the right. Now, as you see,
record so we can get.
Okay. Okay. So, I'm gonna play the video first. Okay. I'm gonna play the video first.
We're huge in Baltimore.
Okay, so let's just play the video first and then we could talk after.
Patrick Ricard so we could get those big packages along with Cam Scatterboo that were huge in Baltimore. So we could get those big packages along with Cam Scatterboo that were huge in Baltimore. Patrick Ricard so we could get those big packages along with Cam Scatterboo that were huge in Baltimore.
Okay, let us read through this so I could understand the context of what he's saying and all. All right, so Alec Lace posts this here on Twitter or X. So it says, and it read, they all knew Ryan Clark got fired by ESPN mid-show. NFL Live hit commercial break, came back, and he was gone. Oh, damn. See how the whole panel is nodding along? Ryan was the last to find out cold. Okay? Now, Ryan is the only black man here on the panel, right? With other three individual. Now, this is Ryan Clark, the NFL analysis. Okay, and people have noticed that these other three individual, their body language and facial expression is definitely made it clear that they are aware and was informed that Ryan Clark was terminated or was being terminated before he even knew himself. So yeah, so we're gonna slide and put all the pieces of the puzzle together, you know? Okay, let's hear the other slide.
We're huge in Baltimore.
Okay, so the other slide says that from Andrew Marchand, right? It reads that our story is being updated. Clarke was on NFL Live today, but was told during the program that he was being let go according to sources. He did not finish the program. ESPN was expected to inform him tomorrow morning when it is anticipated the network inform more employees of the layoff. Okay, so Andrew Marchand is definitely a employee at the ESPN network, right? Television station. Okay, and Andrew Marchand may just be some high position profession, hold some high position there. You know what I'm saying? Possibly the CEO. I don't know, and I don't care to find out. You know what I'm saying? Now, it continues to read down below where it says Andrew Merchant name again, right? And he commented saying ESPN has cut ties with NFL analysis Ryan Clarke. The athletic has learned, right? The Athletic has learned. So this is coming from an insider of ESPN giving us some insight on why and what had occurred. But we'll definitely get information on why he was fired. But it's definitely not, sounding valid or seeming valid to make any sense on why they would terminate him. However, I do believe that they are in fear of some leak, as what we had read earlier on the front cover of this post. You know what I'm saying? So let's go to the next slide. La la la. Okay, so here we have possibly another insider who is employed to the ESPN network station, television channel, whatever. Now, the name here is Harry Mirov. Okay, my sports update. Now, further detail. ESPN's intention was to inform Ryan Clarke on Tuesday, but there was growing concern the news would leak as word began spreading privately. Out of respect for Clarke, ESPN executive told him during the show so he could hear it directly from them first. What a sack of crap. That is just a low blow below the belt. Ryan Clarke should have a helter skelter to let off in that beer, you know what I'm saying? Now down below we have Harry Merov again commented saying Ryan Clarke was an analysis on today's episode of the NFL NFL Live when he was informed off air during the show that ESPN was letting him go, per Andrew Marchand, right? Marchand. He did not appear for the final 10 minutes of the show. Why should he? So he left and they went for commercial break. They disrespected him. He should sue. I hope that we can look forward to see Ryan Clarke, the NFL analysis, suing ESPN and get another whopping 20 to 50 million US dollars for the embarrassing event and occurrence that they had caused him to undergo. That is just crazy. I can just imagine the emotional damage one can suffer from such a disrespect from such a big platform. Millions of people across the world are in tune to these major television stations. So Harry Merov and Andrew Marchand, they are no good. And I would be ashamed to come out to represent for ESPN against another black man who, it was terminated unfairly. That is just crazy. Now, next.
Which is this number one one target all night, and then you got CeeDee Lamb. But that's the target. But I'm saying, when was the one target? I'm saying you could have it both ways. 54 seconds left in the game on 2nd and 11. It was the one target. He runs the out. You wake up this morning saying AJ Brown had a better day than CeeDee Lamb. But you know what you wake up saying? No, AJ Brown's team is 1-0. Of course, right? Like that's what I get it. But the thing is this though, and We shouldn't do this on TV, and so I apologize if people think this is rude. That's the non-player.
Oh, stop! That's no. CeeDee Lamb is.
Let me tell you why. I'm not saying.
I'm a fantasy football, Ryan. I'm not. Don't belittle me like that. I could come in and say, as 3 ex-players are saying one thing, and give an alternative perspective that maybe CeeDee Lamb did play well.
What I need for you to do is not get mad and let me finish for one.
Okay, go on.
It wasn't about you. It was going to be about me.
Okay.
As a player, I can't speak for CeeDee Lamb. I'm speaking,
which is this number 1 wide receiver who got 1 target all night, and then you got CeeDee Lamb. But that's the
when was the one
target?
That's the target.
But I'm saying
when was the one target?
I'm saying you could have it both ways.
4 seconds left in the game on 2nd and 11. It was the one target. He runs the out.
You wake up this morning. Had a better day than CeeDee Lamb.
But you know what you wake up saying though? AJ Brown's team is 1-0.
Of course,
right? Like that's what
I get it.
But the thing is this though, and we shouldn't do this on TV. And so I apologize if people think this is rude. That's the non-player.
Oh, stop! That's no. CeeDee Lamb is.
Let me tell you why. I'm not saying.
I'm not looking at fantasy football, Ryan. I'm not. Don't belittle me like that. I could come in and say, as 3 ex-players saying one thing, and give an alternative. Maybe Lamb play well.
Okay, so the NFL black skin, and you know what I've sensed when a black man or the black woman who is highly educated, who is excellent at articulating and vividly, expressing themselves, and these many white folks, a lot, find it very threatening, of us black people to be educated and very witty and intelligent, brilliant and intellectual. You know what I'm saying? And that is just what happened, why you see ESPN behaving like the LGBT homosexual, that be having problem with everything that people say or do. You know what I'm saying? And no shade at all the community, but you know what I'm saying? It's just true that we don't have to allow everything to bother us, what people say or what people do, and that is what many white folks can't really get past or get over when it comes to us as black dudes. So let us read through this and suss out any more valid reason as to why, or see if anything they're hiding, because there's always signs and wonders of the universe and how the earth work. Okay, so this post was taken from Twitter or X. The username is known as The Athletics, right? The Athletic. So Ryan Clark, the NFL analysis, firing from ESPN, was influenced by his perceived poor verbal conduct, particularly towards colleague Peter Skrager, right? Or Skrager, right? And that is this guy here. Let me show you right here. Let me make it clear who is Peter Skrager. Yeah, so this is Ryan Clark here, Ryan Clark there, and here's Peter. You're about to see. This is Peter. Okay, so it's black versus white and having a conversation. This is Peter Skrager. Okay, right here. That's Peter Skrager right here. I'm circling. Okay. So it's possibly he is butthurt by getting cooked in this reasoning or debate. And it's national television, and as I said before, many people are locked in to ESPN when it comes to sports, okay? And these section of the show. All right. So let us continue read the middle paragraph, right, where it says, on Get Up last September, after Skrager, that's Peter, the white guy, defended Cowboy WRCD, that is one of the players, right? So Peter Scragger defended Cowboy WRCD Lamb's performance in a season opening loss, Clark said, right? So Clark gave them all that information about how the debate had went. And Clark, okay, so this was the argument that they had. Okay, so Clark had said, get up last September after Skrager, the Peter White guy, defended Cowboy WRCD. So maybe that get up was sort of disrespectful, you know? And they're saying that the black guy here, Ryan Clark, had told the white guy, Peter Scragger, to get up because he was defending the Cowboy player, right? The WRCD Lamb's performance in a season open loss, Clark said. That's the non-player in you. And we heard when Ryan Clark had said that to Peter Scrager, that that's the non-player in you. So Peter Scrager, the white guy, asked um, Ryan Clark, the NFL analyst who ESPN had terminated, right? So Peter Schrager asked Ryan Clark not to belittle him. And later that day, Clark apologized on X, where Ryan Clark wrote, today, this is what Ryan Clark had wrote, right? Later the day he was fired, which I believe it was Monday, right? Which is today. Okay. So yeah, so Ryan Clark had made an apology statement on Twitter, and he had posted that I had an interaction with my colleague Peter Schrager, both on and off the air, that he regret. So Ryan Schrager is saying that he regrets the argument that he had, or the interaction he had with Schrager, right? Both on and off the air. Now, maybe his regret would be from having that interaction with Peter Schrager. Maybe Ryan Clark is just, like he's just regret in a sense where he's like, damn, I shouldn't have no interaction with that guy. I should have knew he was petty. You know what I'm saying? It can be like that. Or it may be a solemnly apology where Ryan Clark is really sad and is really, taking accountability, or maybe he really find himself at fault in the wrong, which I see no way of that for him to think that he should be in the wrong. You know what I'm saying? He has no reason to think that he is wrong. This is men, grown men, having argument. We're like lion, not cats. Okay? Yes, we roar. We don't meow. Okay? So stop getting your feelings, having a debate. Learn to have debate and learn to take accountability when you're wrong and when you're corrected. Okay? And that is what people fail to do. All right, let's slide to the next. Let's.
What I need for you to do is be very patient with Malik Neighbors. And I believe Isaiah Likely could be a huge reason why you can be patient. When you think about the way he was paired with Mark Andrews in Baltimore, he was the guy that gave you the explosive play that could stretch you down the seam. And now with Jackson Dart, to give him an outlet that's closer to the line of scrimmage, closer to the tackle box, I believe Matt Nagy understands how to utilize a tight end, and he can have a young Travis Kelce effect for this New York Giants offense. I believe he is just waiting to be unleashed. And you add Theo Johnson to that, who was already in New York, who we've seen make some athletic plays on the outside, but it could also be an inline blocking tight end, along with the 21 personnel Mina mentioned. We could see some of that 12, and then also incorporating Patrick Ricard so we could get those big packages along with Cam Scatterbull that were huge in Baltimore. Be very patient with Malik Neighbors, and I believe Isaiah Likely could be a huge.
Okay, so as you heard, it started over, okay? And as you can tell, if you have a great level or just a normal level of intelligence, one could tell that Ryan Clark here, the NFL analysis, is very well informed as well as informative, giving out info, about the sport, football. And ESPN would never hire someone who isn't capable of, being able of collecting, facts and good knowledge and share great opinion that makes sense, to their station to bring ratings. It's all it's more and should be more about, respectful. The term would be reliable, right? Reliable. So they would need someone who could be seen as being reliable to the viewers. And Ryan Mark is very much a cut above what is expected. And if you read the comments where I'm going to carry you in a few minutes, you'll see how the audience are reacting, very disappointing. Their hearts are crushed to see this happening. And we've seen it, as I said, Nolan Wells. And you can see the blatant disrespect that ESPN have disrespected Ryan Clark, right? And I'm going to show you in the text where they stated that Ryan Clark was terminated because of his poor speech. Like, where have we seen or heard any poor, you know, impediments of speech from Ryan Clark? Like, he actually shut down and cooked the Peter Schrager guy. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see it. It's Peter Schrager who had the poor, or who was more likely to have the poor display of, you know, articulating his speech. So yeah, down below it's read. Okay, let's read this here. Where at the top it says NFL on ESPN. Okay, and that's the name of the account that made this post. All right, and it said he can have a young Travis Kelce effect for this New York Giants offense. Now I don't know much about they call this football, NFL, right? But we know World Cup, FIFA is the real football, right? And this is actually rugby. But then what is called rugby has different rules from American football. And that is what separates this football here from the FIFA World Cup football, because this football is American football, right? And FIFA World Cup football is known as soccer to the Americans and Canadians, you know what I'm saying? But not us as Jamaicans. Okay, so yeah, let's read what it says. So it continues to read that real Clark, and I'm assuming that NFL on ESPN tag Ryan Clark, the NFL analysis, the black guy, right? They tagged him saying real Clark 25 on Isaiah likely possibly becoming a key component for the Giants. So they're just continue to share their views and opinion to the argument that transpire between both Ryan Clark and Peter Schrager. You know what I'm saying? And down below, we've seen a comment from Tuesday, or Ruby Tuesday underscore 22, saying posting this after just firing him, diabolical, right? And the post NFL on ESPN is who they're commenting that too, because NFL on ESPN, they're part of ESPN. It definitely, subliminally, evidently clear. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this is some sad thing, But as I said, he should sue them, and collect some millions. He would definitely win with a good lawyer. Now, here are more posts from Twitter from Emmanuel Ako. So he says, man, real Clark, we actually made it clear that I believe it's Ryan Clark, the NFL analysis, who used such username, real Clark. So Emmanuel Ako or Ako tagged Ryan Clark, I'm assuming, and says that, man, Ryan Clark is one of the most talented television personalities in the world. That's what I'm telling you, that these fans in the comment, they are, defending the black NFL analysis, Ryan Clark, right, against ESPN and Peter Schrager, who's definitely in his feeling inferior to the superior black man, right? So Emmanuel Ako continues saying that he helped, and he's talking about Ryan Clark, right? Saying that Ryan Clark helped bring NFL Live their first Emmys and is a master of his craft. Keep going, Ryan Clark, right? RC. Now, look at that. they always want to use the black man, and then just get rid of him. That's why we need our own ESPN. Imagine if all the celebrities with great, enormous amount of wealth build their own sports network. We would definitely run the world like Beyonce uses the girl to run the world. You know what I'm saying? And we know that the white elites will try to destroy what we have and try to build, just as they do the Cosby, R. Kelly, and all the greats who have accomplished something to, build something monumental and you know, to become a staple. That is when the secret society and secret service go against them and try to take them down because they don't want to see black people rise from off the ground, right? So the replies continue on the comments coming in, and we have Ari Merov, who is a employee at the ESPN network, saying ESPN has parted ways with Ryan Clark in what is the first of several layoffs expected to occur this week, per Andrew Merchant, right? So Emmanuel Echo, he is the one who replied to Ari Merov comment, right? And it's so clear that they use the black man first to fire him first and saying that several layoff expected to occur this week. Like, yo, do you use the black man? Damn, this is so painstaking. There is no more, guys. This is where it ends, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to end it here, because it's very clear that it's racial attack.